So, we are not going to do a full garden tour or nothing. I just wanted to, this is my white rose of Sharon, just kind of show off how some things are growing. Morning glories are growing up really big in here. Got strawberries in here. I did bring a bowl and some clippers. We're going to cut our garlic scapes today. Got a ton of sunflowers coming up. Those are all volunteer beans. I got cucumbers that are supposed to be coming up the other side. Now I've got cucumbers coming up this side. And I've got some volunteer sunflowers in here. And then next to my peppers, I got a volunteer bean next to my peppers. I did plant all these ones on purpose here. And then we've got a few, I got dahlias on the end. And then I got a few sunflowers that were like, I just left it because I was volunteer. And some beans. I had noodle beans over here, so I left these beans. I'm hoping that they're noodle beans that are going to come up. Oh, and the hose went right through my corn. So I'm going to knock all my corn over. So this is the red and blue corn that we planted. I got 2 rows of red, 2 rows of blue. And then I've got a volunteer sunflower right there that's pretty good sized. And then I planted all these zinnias in here. And then we've got the, oh look, there's chamomile in there. I didn't even plant that. So there's some chamomile growing up in my garlic. And there's weeds in here, but I didn't get in. But all the garlic scapes are ready to be harvested. So this is what we're going to get today, is all the garlic scapes off of here. And then we're also going to grab some strawberries. So this is all of the garlic scapes that we got today. That's my bowl of strawberry tops and stuff. I froze a bunch of the strawberries, but yeah, there were a ton of these things. So these I'm gonna make a garlic pesto out of it, and then the rest of them I'm gonna actually cut this piece here off, and then the rest of it will get froze like it is, and I will use this when I am canning my pasta sauce in the fall. And hopefully it'll be good. I'm not going to do the whole batch with this stuff in it. I'm going to try a small batch, see how it is. We'll see how it tastes, see how it does. And then I also cut a little bit of mint today. So I make a lemonade with strawberries and basil. But I'm going to try some mint in one of them. I'm going to still add the basil and the strawberries, but I'm also going to add a couple of leaves of mint. And then I wanted some of the mint for my tea. So that was it for the garlic scapes, and then I will show you the rest of what is going on in the garden. Alright, so this is like kind of like my arbor. I've got the rose bushes with the wind chime in there. This here is a little horse trough flower bed that we had put one of my dog's ashes in, and so I don't want to put food in it, but I definitely want something pretty in it. And there's a great big bumblebee right there on that. Oops, now he's flying around me. But this is all of my asparagus and strawberries. Now, I did throw some flower seeds in here, and a lot of them didn't come up. Now, these here I did not plant. This is a weed. I'm not sure what it's called. But all of this really tall stuff, they're all those white flowers. So I'm actually glad that I did not, because the amount of bees in here is amazing. There's a lot of clover. I'm not sure where the clover came from. I have never planted clover in here. I'm kind of wondering if maybe, because it's in one spot, it didn't come from like some of the manure that hadn't been broken down that I had brought into the garden. And I'm thinking that that's where the clover came from. And then these yellow flowers, I did plant these. I did not think they were going to come up because I had planted the whole area of the strawberries with these yellow flowers, knowing that I was not going to be weeding it this year. But only this one little spot came up. But that's fine, because it still looks pretty. And then I ended up with a little bit of clover down there. And then all of these white flowers that are tall weeds that are not really flowers. And then the asparagus I didn't cut back because this is its first year. I planted it last year. This is its first year coming up. And then these strawberries keep getting run over. So my son got a new dirt bike, and he is parking it actually in the shed. Oh, I thought he left. His dirt bike is actually in the shed. We'll show the little bit of it. But so he's driving through this little bit of the strawberries, which is fine because I'm not getting the strawberries from here. because this is where all of the poison ivy and poison oak is. So I'm actually not picking any of these strawberries. And from the looks of it, the rabbits have been eating off of them, and I'm fine. As long as they're going to eat off of this corner where I'm not picking from, they can have them. And I've only found a couple of ripe strawberries that they have eaten off of. So I haven't had too much rabbit problem because they're eating off the ones that I'm not picking anyways. Now, this is a random tomato or potato plant. I said tomato, but potato plant. I did not plant it. I must have missed some potatoes last year. And then these are the raspberries. Now I'm thinking that these are raspberries. They look like the same leaves. And I planted this big raspberry bush last year. And I'm thinking it must have almost doubled in size here. And then this here, I didn't plant this flower either. This is a weed. And then all of these potatoes, there is potatoes this whole row. I didn't realize that I left that many potatoes in the ground. And then they're also coming up all through here. And then this is the corn. So I've got, you can see the line coming through here, this so I don't rototill over my corn. But I've got corn here. And then, so that was a couple weeks. And then this corn here is 2 weeks earlier. And then this one is 2 weeks in front of that one. So the different, like this one here is like knee high. This one here is like middle of my calf high. Yeah, my iced coffee is jingling around. If you hear that, I'm sorry. But there are random potatoes. Like here's another random potato plant. I didn't even have potatoes on this side, so I don't know how. There's another potato plant over here. We had zinnias in this area last year. No idea how all these potato plants got in here. Maybe like a little chunk got stuck in the rototiller, I'm not sure. So these are my onions. I planted these last year. Did not dig them up. I wanted to see how big I could get them this year. I had heard from an Amish woman. She plants them the year before, harvests them the next year. So I do have some that I'm going to plant this year. And a lot of them are starting to flower. I'm not sure if you're supposed to cut them off like you do with garlic scapes. We're going to let them grow. I'm not sure. I probably should have looked into that, but I did not. And then this here is all of my potato beds. And I did hill them up a little bit, but they're pretty good sized. And then I'm not the best garden weeder of my garden, but all of my tomato rows, you'll see weeds. 4, 5, 6, 7 rows of tomatoes. But some of these are getting pretty good sized. I am seeing some damage on some of them. We did have a lot of rain happening. So we had some blight on the bottoms. This one here has got flowers on it already. I don't feel like this one's big enough to be growing flowers already. And I kind of want to pick it off. But at the same time, I've got a couple hundred tomato plants out here, so I'm going to let that flower stay. Now, if I would only have like 10 tomato plants, I'd pick that flower off and let it get bigger. But because I've got so many, and it's a nightshade, it's going to be one of my black ones. I really want that one to grow. So this one here, it looks like it's dying off. I had bent it over and it started popping back up, so I'm hoping that it'll be all right. We'll see. I was in here rototilling and got it caught a little bit on the rototiller, so next time I'll stay away. Won't go so close to the tomatoes. A lot of these, I kind of tend to, when they're smaller, like you can see with this one, I weave them in and out, and then as they get bigger and they start to fall over, then I start tying them up. But for now, for the size that they are, I just weave them in and out of this cattle panel, and that seems to do the job. It seems to work out pretty well. We put flowers in between on our posts. So like here, I've got these ones, but my daughter also went through and put sunflowers in them on the posts. Some of the sunflowers did not come up. This one here has 2 of them. And then we also put some zinnias on some of them. And then if you hear that, we have a husky. She's a whiner, especially when she doesn't get attention. She likes to talk to you. This one here is really big and has no flowers on it. It did have some on it, and I did pick them off. And some of my tomato plants I do know are tall and are close together. This particular row is my cherry tomatoes. And so, being that I'm not relying on them for anything other than flavor, I've got 2 of each kind of plant, and then I put them close together. I've got like 9 different cherry tomato plants. And then these are all tomatoes. Nika. And then this here is a turnip that I left in last year. I hadn't realized that I had left them in. And I actually don't have any more seeds for these things. And these things are taller than me. And I'm going to save the seeds off of these. Here, I'll turn you around here. Okay, so like here I am. And here this is. But we're going to save the seeds off of this. And hopefully have a bunch of them left. And then along here, I've got all of my pepper plants. Some are in the shade. Yes, I know there's a great big tree right here. Great big maple tree. But I'm hoping that they'll grow. I have had pepper plants in here before and they have grown. And then I've got all of my garlic through here, which was at the beginning of the video. But so all of the pepper plants are through here. And then that comes full circle because we've seen the zinnias and the corn. It just got really bright since I turned on the camera at the beginning of the video. I am excited about, I'm not sure if you can see because of all the brightness, but all of these sunflowers. Now I put just a handful of seeds in one spot and I put them really thick, and we're going to see how they turn out. And then the last one that I got, there's some more, is the potatoes that are in a bag. Bug on me, sorry. So we got all the potatoes in a bag with these rose bushes along the arbor. They've got some weeds growing in them, but these potatoes are looking really good in here. They're pretty big, pretty tall. And of course, I got all the little flowers in there. The rose bush that I was so excited about only gave off those 2 roses, but it did grow an extra shoot, so I'm hoping that next year I'll get more flowers off of it. But the rest of the rose bush is still looking really good, especially being that I had killed it off last year and didn't think it was going to survive at all. Alright, well, thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the garden video and tour that I just did, and please consider subscribing if you like what you're seeing, and I will continue to put out some garden videos through the rest of the summer and into the canning season. I do not do videos on canning because I'm what you would consider almost a rebel canner, and so I don't always follow the guidelines, and I don't want to put anything into anybody's head as to what they should or should not be doing. If you're unsure, always follow the Blue Book guide for canning. Go from what the USDA recommends if you're unsure of yourself and unsure of what you should do. Thank you.